quote from you. Because you are, with regard to Sweetback, which we're going to talk about in its entirety, and then I want to get more into what you've worked on as a director and an actor, but you personally are on more than one top 10 list of the most controversial sex scenes ever. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. There are 3 that you were in the top 10 for that one scene. You were 13 years old during filming, right? Mm-hmm. And you were 14 when it came out. And it's a scene where they call it a rape. Would you describe it that way?
No.
No, it's a consensual sex scene. I don't know why they call it a rape, but because I saw it.
Because the character's underage.
Underage, basically, so it's statutory then.
Yeah. I played my dad's character, Sweetback, losing his virginity.
Right.
And
it's simulated.
Yeah, totally.
It's entirely simulated.
Totally. But I would have loved another shot at it.
So wait, here's the quote.
Yeah.
The quote says, "On some level, I was aware of being in a war. The war of my father making this film, and what it put everyone through. I saw the pain in my own situation, but it was eclipsed by all the other things that were happening, the things that were going on around me. Death threats, money problems. When he ordered me to do that scene, my father made a choice. I wouldn't have done that with my kids, but ultimately I came to grips with why he did what he did." So can you just talk a little bit about what that was like? You used the word ordered, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember this exact quote, but it's close enough.
Okay.
So let me just clarify something.
Yeah.
I was raised in a family where we walked around nude. You know, we didn't wear bathing suits at beaches. My sister and I didn't until we were 11 or 12. You know, we just were different kids. We'd been all over Europe, so we were really different. We were sort of like raised, as I said in my little thing, much more culturally free.
Yeah.
You know, we don't worry about dogs and cats and what they wear or don't wear, and so we just we're a much more open family. I was more. I had done a play prior to this where I had to have a breakdown every night. Mm-hmm. That was much more emotionally draining for me than being in Sweetback. So I was a resilient soul. I'm still a resilient soul.
Yeah.
So I didn't tune into it as a super big deal. Mm-hmm. I was more concerned about getting my afro cut, honestly. You know, I had this dope afro, and luckily I got an afro wig, so that was more my focus.
Yeah.
I wasn't, I was just a skinny.
They cut your hair?
No.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. They got me an afro.
Okay,
That pulled it up. You'll see it in my movie Badass. If you watch Badass, you'll see that whole scene. So I was more, but it's kind of like if you're in a war, and if right now in the studio something happened and you really cut your leg, that would stop the interview, and that would be a situation we'd deal with and get some little stitches or whatever is needed. But if we were in a war and you cut your leg, but the dude next to you lost an arm, or someone else next to you did this, they were killing people. There was a list. The COINTELPRO was alive and well. Mm. They were shooting Fred Hampton. They were threatening my dad. They had killed, as I said, Kennedy. I mean, they were taking people out.
People who spoke out.
People who spoke out, and this was a movie who spoke. So there were bullets flying,
That was real.
That was real stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. The whole crew got arrested for making a film while being minorities.
What?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they arrested the whole crew, white, black, everything.
On what basis?
Just because they didn't see receipts for the camera equipment. They didn't think young people with long hair should be having that kind of a camera equipment. So there was everyday stuff way bigger than this little issue of being with some lady who's a nice lady and being naked with her or someone. And
right.
So in my zeitgeist, honestly, I didn't trip on it the way other people trip on it. When I was in elementary school, they said something about, well, draw a picture of your mom and bring it to school. So I drew it. I always liked to go extra because I'm an artist. So I went home and I carved my mother in a wooden plaque. And I thought it was rather nice. And I took it to school and everyone flipped out. Oh, look at you, nasty, oh my God. I said I couldn't figure out what they were tripping on. I'd carved my mother in the nude. And my mother's white, but I saw Rembrandts, man. I grew up going to the Louvre. I grew up seeing Godin, je parle français, tu vois, c'est absolument différent. C'est pas du tout la même chose qu'ici, tu vois. So I grew up with,
speak that
yeah,
French.
I grew up speaking different languages, and so I couldn't get my head around where people were at. So I was like from Mars, man. So people, oh, you're really cool, you'll smoke. I could smoke with my mom.
Right.
Why would that, define
that's
me
a
as
whole
cool?
other only
Do you
one
know
in the
Or
room.
you're really cool.
Yeah.
If you're really cool, you'll go parking with your girlfriend. Well, my girlfriend can stay over at the crib.
Right.
So I was in a different head. So
Yeah.
rebelling against very hip parents made no sense unless I wanted to be in the John Birch Society or,
Right.
be a,
Right.
I would have to do a whole 180, which I'm not about to do, So,
Yeah.
so I was really, so you have to understand my headspace was not
Right.
an outsider looking, oh my God, that's so terrible. And then I got to do the other scene, which is blowing up the car, which I loved. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I didn't. I did. So, personally, to me,
Yeah.
we were just such a different family. Again, my dad's black, my mom's white, my aunt's gay. I gotta love everybody. There's nobody I can throw a boomerang out without that coming back and hit me in the back of my big head and go, wait a minute, you got two of those in the family tree. You know what I mean? And that's cool.
Right,
my ex is
right.
Hindu. You know what I mean? I got it all. So I that was not super. The bigger thing to me was actually seeing my dad lose sight in his left eye, actually seeing the death threats.
When did that happen, that he lost sight?
When he was editing.
When he was editing.
When the whole thing went bankrupt, when he almost didn't get it done.
He had self-funded.
Self-funded.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was such a risk, and he almost lost his life to it, and that was much more of an impression. To me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So seismically, that was the proportion. But I understand culturally where America was at.
Well, it's really interesting to hear your point of view, and had our two conversations prior to this, I got the feeling that this didn't impact you the way that it was thought to impact you. That the
people are
perceived
looking.
impact was
People are
different.
looking from their point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're and here's the thing. Understand something else. There will be. I wouldn't do that with my kids, but there are going to be things they improve on and don't do with their kids. If
Right.
you give your kid yellow, they're going to want to give their child red, and their children go, "I got yellow, but I got red, but now I want to give my kid blue. If only I had blue." So there's always going to be that.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing: is the truth is, we're not so much affected by or defined by what we face.
Yeah.
We're more revealed by how we face it.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have a different soul that goes out and loses his legs and becomes a drug addict. And that would make sense because oh man, he lost his legs. It was so tragic. He's now a drug addict. I get it. We could have someone else who loses their leg and they run a marathon.
Right.
So different souls can face the same stimulus and get an entirely different message from it.
Yeah.
That's what's so interesting. You can have one guy who reads a great book, like a Bible or a Quran or the Vedas, and gets an eye for an eye message, and someone else who gets a love thy neighbor as you love thyself message. So it depends on that soul's interpretation and their view of it. So I think my dad, to some degree, knew I was ambitious, knew I was resilient, knew where I wanted to go, and even kind of in a way before I knew it,